Okay, as we said, when Rachel Maddow stops fishing, you know, it's getting real up in here. And also, when we get rock star podcast, social media rock star Allison Gill here, it's a big week. Happy Indictment Week Day. What do you think? Good morning, Allison.
Hello, good morning. Happy possible indictment week.
Yes, yes. You had reposted someone that said, "I'm now hearing Trump has not been notified by the Manhattan DA. He's just rambling about what he perceives from media coverage of the grand jury." I mean, everything Maddow just speculated, right, is what we've all been speculating. To do, someone just said, "Oh, the FEC." Filing deadline is today, so it's a money grift. It's inciting violence. It's a threat, right? I think a last minute kind of Hail Mary to see if he can intimidate prosecutors. What do you think?
Yeah, and we were sort of all expecting it. I think that the most chilling post of his was when he called on the NYPD to not protect the people of New York and
Yeah.
allow his violent rioters, if they show up, if they're dumb enough to show up and do violence, to do their thing. I thought that was pretty. Um, I mean, not shocking, but
Yeah.
surprising.
Yeah. I loved your tweet. You said Trump may agree to handcuffs so he can fundraise off the martyrdom. I'm not kidding. I mean, I was thinking that's why he used the word arrest, right? It's to further inflame his followers. Yeah, Chris is holding up his finger.
Yeah, Trump has just filed a motion in Superior Court in Georgia, in Fulton County, Georgia, motion to quash the special purpose grand jury report to preclude the use of any evidence derived therefrom and to recuse the Fulton County District Attorney's Office.
Okay, well,
Desperate monkey says what?
a desperate one. Yeah, I mean, people, of course, there's rampant speculation now, right? People are like, is Vonnie Willis going to swoop in before the New York indictment? I mean, that's a typical Trump move, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I mean, we saw that coming. If you remember when Emily Coors was out doing her little media tour, all of the Trump lawyers were like, "We're going to do a motion to squash. It's quash, but we're going to do a motion to squash this," and and so we were waiting for this filing. But wow, for them to go after the guy who put together the special purpose grand jury, that judge,
Yeah.
he's going after everybody. Which is interesting because because Georgia followed the letter of the law on this throughout the entire thing.
Well, and you had an interesting tweet. You said breaking: the Manhattan DA has set a meeting for next. Oh, I'm sorry, that for next week with law enforcement to discuss the logistics of the arrest of Donald Trump. Sorry, what my point on that was, we were saying that's the reporting that we at least believe, right? Because when you heard, oh, it's only from Trump, we're hearing it's going to be Tuesday. Of course, you're immediately suspect. But we were saying that's the more real reporting, at least
Yeah,
as it regards that arrest. Correct?
yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry. This was the one I meant to find. You said, keep in mind when folks say New York State indicted before the DOJ that the hush money crime is 5 years old and has like 10 witnesses. 1/6 is 2 years old and has hundreds. And if the DA charges for the business valuations, that's been going on for decades. So, because I don't know why people seem to hold you personally responsible when indictments don't come fast enough or the way they would like.
Yeah, yeah. I apparently am on Merrick Garland's payroll. I'm his PR. But honestly, a lot of folks. I've seen a lot of folks over the past week say stuff with chyrons like, "How come the states are on this before the DOJ is on this?" To close that case down and make it unopenable again, but that's probably what happened. But to compare this hush money Stormy Daniels case to January 6th, as far as speed goes, I think is disingenuous.
Yeah, yeah. Well, clearly a much bigger case. But so we were talking about this. The final witness. You had tweeted about this could be the final witness today before they vote on an indictment. So, and it's what's his name? It's the attorney, the ex-attorney that they think is going to undercut Michael Cohen. But people are saying it just could add another obstruction charge. Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, it's Bob Costello.
Costello,
He's
that's right.
also Bannon's attorney. He was subpoenaed by the Department of Justice in the Bannon case for possibly conspiring with Bannon to defy a subpoena. He's not he's not a good dude, but I mean what Lisa Rubin brought up, which is really interesting, was, hey, sometimes if you're being charged, remember how Trump's being charged and so they invited him in to talk to the DA?
Yeah.
Perhaps Costello's being charged for
Right.
witness intimidation in this case. But the thing is that when I started the Mueller, She Wrote podcast, I was like overwhelmed by the amount of news from that one single investigation, which was pretty narrow in scope. So now we've got all this going on. We've got the motion that Chris just talked about. We've got what's going on, in New York right now. And as we know, Caitlin Collins just reported that Evan Corcoran and his attorney, making attorneys get attorneys, Levy, and Jim Trusty are at the D.C. Office today in the likely in the documents case with the crime fraud exception stuff. And so
Right.
to keep on top of all of these investigations and the sleeper case you just mentioned in the Southern District of New York for Trump Truth Social,
Yeah.
which is under federal criminal investigation for money laundering Russian dollars. All of this stuff is absolutely so hard to keep track of.
I know.
And so I have 3 whole separate podcasts. Just
You have been made an industry.
because setting these up because I knew that this was going to be triple
Yeah.
the work at least of just tracking the Mueller probe, which
No,
was the single biggest investigation.
Yeah, we say that on this show all the time. Is you have to be specific. Which crime are you talking about? I mean, it's the one. By the way, I don't know if this is what you're referring to. The on her final day as a top judge in the D.C. court, Chief Beryl Howell, that's who you're talking about, did more than just grant the DOJ permission to question Trump's personal attorney. She actually took the rare step of handing over his notes to federal prosecutors. Right? She handed Jack Smith a parting gift that she deemed evidence of a crime involving the former president improperly hoarding classified documents. Evan Corcoran is which crime? Classified documents. That one.
Sometimes I ask questions to get the public some information. And I'm not a lawyer, so I don't like to just come out and say things that I know this to be true. I like to get the answers from legal Twitter, but it seems to me that, when you're doing a sentencing recommendation, there's always, the level of sentencing, the amount of time that you do depends on whether you have priors or not. And among other things, there could be, upward considerations for domestic terrorism or, stuff like that. But...
Yeah, it is amazing the questions we're asking about a former president. But I was saying, aren't this fomenting violence? Isn't that a condition that you would want any normal person held without bail? That he's actively inciting violence?
Yeah, and he was going to be free as a bird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, awaiting trial, at least in the Manhattan DA, because that's a nonviolent crime and he doesn't have any priors, believe it or not. And so he would have been out on bail. This gives the DOJ something to argue for, remand for pretrial detention. I'm not sure that they will, and I don't think he's a flight risk. I don't know that he will come peacefully. They're down there in Mar-a-Lago making a patriot moat, whatever that is.
It's our favorite obsession this morning. Thank you.
We want meth gators in
talking
it.
about.
We want
I
meth
knew
gators.
you would love the patriot moat. I knew you would love the patriot moat.
Chris has questions. Is it made entirely of patriots? Is it water with patriots in it?
And alligators, because it is Florida.
Sharks with friggin' laser beams?
I want meth gators. If there are not meth gators in
all
that
right.
moat,
Any cocaine bears?
it's not
Who
going to do
knows?
any good.
It's like 12 chodes with flags
Yeah.
peeing on stuff, probably.
Minocqua Brewing Company is excited to partner with Equality Vines to create Choice Wine. Choice Wine comes in 2 choices, Rosé and Sauvignon Blanc. This wine was created to support women's reproductive rights after the Supreme Court rolled back Roe v. Wade in 2022 and caused chaos all over the country. For all you viewers on the Political Voices Network, go to choice.equalityvines.com and type in the promo code PVN to get 10% off on Choice Sauvignon Blanc and Choice Rosé.